It's the age-old debate. Meta ads or Google ads? Where should I put my money? And as you might guess, the answer is much more complicated than just getting a simple this or that. However, I'm going to give you everything that you need in this video to make the right decision, even if the right decision is both decisions. Let me explain. The biggest difference between Meta ads and Google ads is first understanding who the audience is and the intent. Why do these people come to these ads? How do they come to these ads? And what are they doing at that time? What are they searching for? What are they shopping for? What's their behavior? And as I said, what's their intention? Because there are certain products and services out there that people are actively searching for all the time. Things like plumbers, things like lawyers, these need-based things, or these regular problems that we all have in our lives. For example, I need a cleaning company. I need a company to replace my flooring. I need a new skincare product to deal with my rosacea. Whatever it may be, if you are super aware of the problem you have and you're super aware of what the solution is for that problem, Google Ads could be a good option for you. Because when it comes to audience intent, Google Ads targets people who are actively searching for something, which is key. Is high intent. That's why Google ads are so attractive to people at first, because these leads are great. The people coming to my site are good people. They're good leads. This is good traffic because these people are actively shopping for what you sell. Now, of course, the minus of that is that it also means that it can get competitive and expensive. But audience intent alone, if you're somebody who's Googling best running shoes, you're likely to buy what you find to be the best running shoes during your period of shopping for this. And you can get in front of those people if you sell running shoes, and they are a very good prospect. Now, on the other hand, you have Meta, which is interruption marketing. It's the same as TikTok ads. It's the same as LinkedIn ads, Pinterest ads, and even X ads. Yes, this is for businesses who have one of two challenges or both challenges. Challenge A, your target audience is not super aware of the problem they have that your product solves, and they're definitely not aware of the solution. This is something that would often come up if you have a new invention, something that is trying to break into a market that hasn't really been tapped very much. You see this as an amazing opportunity, and it is, but it also means that your advertising needs to be interruption-based to get in front of people because they're not searching for you. So if you're on Google trying to go after keywords that people are searching for, chances are it's going to be a little bit off. These are not going to necessarily be your best products. Of course, there's always creative ways to do it that creative media buyers can find. But in general, Meta makes a lot more sense for interruption marketing type products. It interrupts people while they're scrolling. It's lower intent, but given how good the algorithms are, you're still finding people, if your ad campaigns are set up correctly, that are ready to buy. It's really amazing for discovery at the end of the day. That's how audience intent breaks down. Now let's go to targeting. Google Ads is keywords and search behavior based for the most part, leaving out YouTube from the conversation for the most part, and Google's display ads, which is a retargeting thing for the most part for folks. It's really good for capturing demand. If you're in an industry that could have high demand for your product or service, but they don't know about you, but there's a lot of searching already happening for it. There's a lot of relevant keywords, like we talked about best running shoes. It's a good idea to try to get in front of them with Google Ads if you are in a highly competitive niche, or really any niche where there are lots of decent volume keywords and searches that your prospects are going through that could lead them directly to being a buyer of your stuff because they're just already shopping for you. Targeting for Meta ads, however, is behavioral and interest-based, and it also revolves more deeply in many ways around the algorithm, although Google is deep on its algorithm as well. It's not as powerful as it used to be because the algorithm is so much more powerful and so much more favored. But when we are setting it up, we're looking for people that are interested in essentially very broad categories. It didn't used to be this way. There used to be many more detailed options that we could target to in meta ads. Those have since eroded because of various legal hurdles and issues like that. When you couple that with the rise in adoption of the algorithm and development of the algorithm that's looking for people that are likely to buy or sign up for your stuff that have not before, it can be very powerful. It's really great for creating demand. Google will capture demand and Meta will create that demand. And your creative needs to be lockstep in that, which we're going to get into next. But this is ideal on Meta for visually driven products and services and lifestyle brands, whereas Google Ads, very strong for local branded and service-based businesses, as well as shopping campaigns if you've got the algorithm on your side. Okay, let's talk about the creative differences. Google Ads, in their most basic format and often most powerful format, are text-focused search ads. They also offer display, shopping, and YouTube ads, of course, but the text-focused search ads are really the core product. So when you're going and Googling something, best running shoes, and you get to show up as one of the first results. Now, of course, a lot of your competitors, maybe all of them, or most of them, or some of them, are bidding on the same keywords, the same audiences that you're bidding on. Still, it's a highly relevant audience, and you get the opportunity to get in front of them with very persuasive language, persuasive offers, and a persuasive landing page to take them through, which is very relevant to what they search for in the first place, as well as very relevant for what they're actually shopping for and trying to buy. Meta ads, on the other hand, are very, very visual first. Remember, when I talk about meta ads, Instagram is also in that mix. We're talking about images, videos, carousels, reels, stories being everything when it comes to meta ads. You need to get in front of people. It's really best if your product sells with a wow visual, which is not to say you have to do that. But given that this is interruption marketing, it would behoove you to use creative in your ads that is primarily meant to grab attention and secondarily there to get the click. Now, we may say, hey, Nat, I really want the clicks. That's what I'm going for. And I agree with you. We want that CTR number, the click-through rate, to be as high as possible. However, you need to win the battle for attention before you can fight the battle for the click. It's a prerequisite. So we need to think about that first when we're building meta ad creative, which is not something we're doing as much on Google Ads because people are already looking for us. It's a very different life spot that people are in if we're targeting them on Meta and Google Ads. They're just at a different spot in their life, a different time in their day, most likely, and they're just at a very different point in the buying process. Let's talk about cost and ROI. This is an interesting one. Google Ads can be really expensive for competitive keywords. I'm not going to sugarcoat that, but it's also a better conversion rate very often because again, it's that intent. Who are these people? I'm targeting people that are already shopping for my stuff. So you can get much better conversion rates because if somebody's searching for best running shoes, they go to your ad, they're looking for the best running shoes. You're saying, here are the best running shoes, and there's links to buy them. It's just a very natural progression for them. Now, on meta ads, you typically do get cheaper cost to advertise. Often in Google Ads, it's by CPC rather than CPM, so cost per click. So you pay for the clicks, which is not true across the board. It could also be on a CPM basis, depending on the placement you're doing in Google Ads. But to make it simple, you're often bidding on clicks, and these are very expensive clicks at times if you're in very competitive niches. I would assume, without looking it up, that best running shoes are probably very competitive as a keyword. On Meta, you're going to get cheaper CPMs in D2C type situations. You couldn't be looking as low as $15 to $25 CPMs. $15 to $25 CPMs cost to reach 1,000 people. So to reach 1,000 human beings that you have chosen in your targeting, it's costing you about $15 to reach them or $25 to reach them. In this day and age, as I'm recording this in 2025, you're probably going to see that number in the 20s more often than not. When you get into skincare, you get into supplements, it can start to creep up to these really, really competitive niches. And when it comes to ROI, that's completely different for everyone. Because in Google Ads, ads, you may pay more upfront for those clicks, but you're also going to get a faster conversion because these people are already down the marketing funnel and they're down the buyer's journey. Whereas in meta ads, you're interrupting them and they just have heard about it now. So you're going for simply an impulse buy. It's all about that impulse buy, which is why it's more important than ever to run retargeting. So for example, just to recap here, so to put it all together, you're selling a trendy new product, meta ads. If you're a local service like plumbing or cleaning, Google ads. If you want to run a brand awareness campaign, that's a good spot for meta ads. That's a good spot for meta ads. You want to capture people that are already searching for you directly if you have a big brand or your product. That's Google ads. Retargeting abandoned carts, generally better for meta, but can be good for both. And showcasing visuals, definitely better for meta ads. The bottom line is it depends on what your product or service is, and it very much depends on the mindset that your target customer is in. Are they looking for a solution to the problem that you solve or not? That's the first question to ask yourself when you're trying to figure it out. Now, of course, what's the best strategy? And use meta ads if you want to grab attention and create desire with visuals. Again, Google ads capturing desire, meta ads creating desire. And you might say, hey, I need to create desire and capture desire, which is a lot of businesses out there. Every business should be doing some form of it. So what's the real answer here? Well, the real answer is you should be doing both. Meta for discovery, Google for demand capture. Create that demand with meta ads using brand awareness campaigns, direct purchase campaigns, more top of the funnel stuff, and a really shiny creative. And then Google for demand capture. So you can retarget people with display ads. So you follow them around the internet. You can follow them on YouTube. You follow them everywhere. If you happen to run a plumbing company or a flooring company or something that people are super searching for, you can even flip-flop those and do a lot of your retargeting on Meta after people have looked for you on Google but have not yet converted. It's completely business dependent, but hopefully we've been able to sort of get to the bottom of you trying to make this decision, because many business owners are out there saying, I have a limited budget. I'm not sure which bucket to put that budget in. What should I do? Hopefully this will help. Like and subscribe goes a long way, and I'll see you in the next video.